Okay, in this next segment, we're going to talk about Adobe Reader and some common post-install issues that might arise. That might look like an install problem, but it's really just a Adobe Reader problem. And again, this is something that is part of the pre-install guide that you need Adobe in some form to get things to work. So what typically happens is, let's just go over reports real briefly here. You can execute a report, and you can, when you execute a report, normally it's just going to be a PDF report that comes onto your My Alerts. But if you execute advanced, you're going to get the option to execute a PDF or execute as a PDF and export it. Down here below, you can set an export directory, or you can save it, and it gets automatically saved as a PDF on a default directory on the host server, or the host OMNM server. So how do you read these PDFs? So first of all, let's see what kind of problems we normally see. Initially, someone will go to My Alerts and they will click on the report button, and what I saw pop up here is I get a pop-up saying, popped up on my screen, but it'll say, where do you want to save this file? As a PDF, and it'll give you an option to save it, and in the background you'll see this blank screen here. And so this is an indication that you don't have an association to the .pdf file. It doesn't know what to do with it, so it just says I'm going to save this as a file, and you can deal with it later. But what we really need to do is associate PDF with the Adobe Reader in some way. Now there's two aspects to this. The report can be read directly through the browser that you see here on this blank screen. Normally it would pop up the report. You can read that here. This is browser-based, which means you need to have the PDF viewer in your browser in some form, and so typically that means it as a plugin. And then there's the other aspect where if you do download it onto your local desktop or save it somewhere else, you need a way to read it, and of course you need Adobe Reader to do that. So let's go over the first case here on the plugin side. I'm going to show you that on my Chrome browser I actually have a default Chrome PDF viewer on here. Right now it's disabled, and so there's a variety of plugins that will read these, and so depending on your browser, whether it's IE or Firefox or Chrome, you may have a PDF viewer that's disabled or missing. So if you're missing one, you got to download that viewer. And what we do recommend here is that you just go straight to the PDF viewer, Acrobat.adobe.com, and download. You can download the reader directly, and in some cases that will automatically install the plugin. And so that's probably the easiest way to get it on there. Let's take a quick look at Chrome as well. Actually, let's continue to look at the browser. So if I were to just go over here to my plugins, so this is just Chrome plugins, and I simply just enable this. You see that it enables it now. Now I can go back to my reports, and I can easily just click on one of those, and now I get a full report the way we would expect. And so let's just take a similar look at Firefox. It's the same case here if I have reports. And My Alerts here, and I go to look at a report. Oh, I forgot to tell you about Firefox. Firefox now automatically comes with a PDF viewer. So that's always going to work. It should always work. And let me just show you what I mean here. If I go to Options, there's a section called Applications. And in Applications, there's this portable document format, PDF. This automatically comes with Firefox now. So you should always have a reader, at least in the browser, whenever you download Firefox. So there's options here. You can preview by default in Firefox. You can save the file so that when you click on that button, it would save the file rather than look at it. Let's just see what happens when we do that. So you go to Save File, go back to Reports. Now we want to open it. So now you're getting the same sort of dialog where it's going to automatically save it to a default directory, and you're going to get this blank screen here. So make sure you don't have that checked. Otherwise, it's going to have that same behavior we saw before where it's going to try to save the file and not put it to the screen. So again, I'm going to change that back here to show you. We can go to Options, and I'm going to go back to Applications, and I'm going to go to Portable Document Format. Rather than saving it, I'm going to say Preview in Firefox. You could always ask. If you do always ask, it's going to do, it's just going to prompt you. So let's go Preview in Firefox again, go back to our reports, look at it again, and now we see that it's working. Okay. That's really all there is to Adobe. A few notes on Linux. Linux does not support Adobe, but you can, as you can see here, when you save files, they get saved into this default directory. When you save reports, they get saved into this default directory. This is the VM installation for OMNM. It gets saved into this OWRtemp report framework, and if I do an LS, you'll see all my PDF files. But native support for PDF on Linux is lacking in a lot of places, and so the general process now, especially if you have a headless system, meaning there's no graphical user interface on your system, all you have is command line, then you're basically stuck with exporting your PDF files to another system and then reading them there. Some workarounds I'll throw out here just for people who are interested. There are alternatives to what you might want to do on Linux if you absolutely have to have the files viewed on a Linux box. And so one option is you could install the GNOME desktop. This is basically a graphical desktop that you can install to give you basically a graphical input to all aspects of the operating system, and one of those being Adobe, and this events program is a way to view PDF files. Another way is to use Ocular if you want to use the KDE environment. That is also another type of Linux graphical user interface environment. And if you install that environment or you have that already, you can then use Ocular, download that package, install it, and you can use that to view PDFs. And then finally, the third way is if you're on the same box, you still need a graphical user interface of some sort, but you need to install a browser on that box. And once you have the browser there and you're accessing it directly on that box, you can then use just the same type of process we've just seen, where you can download Adobe or the plug-in to allow that browser to view the PDF. So those are three options there in terms of the Adobe Acrobat and the Adobe Reader. And I will real quickly just hit on the Reader again. If you want to download it, you can go to this site here and just download the Reader. And I believe in a lot of cases that will automatically install the necessary components for your browser as well. So you'll have it in both places. Simple install, and just do it one time and you're done. Okay, that's it for the Adobe.